Today we've got another video on the Volkswagen EOS. Hi, welcome to my video on a Volkswagen EOS to do with the valve stem seals. Up above I have the times of the different steps. If you felt like you wanted to fast forward to any of those times, you can do. This is showing the complete job, so just showed you there, removing the rocker cover. Now we're getting on to the injectors, so you want to remove those plugs and following the cam finger followers that work the injectors on a PD engine, so you want to remove these as well. Using a spline tool, I'll show you here. I've tried to speed up a lot of the work involved in this job. That isn't necessary to the actual bit of changing the valve guides, but this shows all the steps that's involved. So here I am removing the valve followers after I've undone them. Sorry, the injector followers after I've removed them.
Keeping them in order.
So I'm keeping them in order, so when I put them back I know which one followed which. So now I'm moving on to removing the bolts for the injectors. These are stretch bolts, so you need to use new stretch bolts when you install them. They're one-time use only bolts. Again, later on in this video I'll show installing injectors back into the engine. So please make sure you put something in the holes so you don't drop any bolts. Not on this car, but I have dropped bolts before. So there's an injector foot. Now we'll be using that when we change the valve guides with the head still on. So now I'm just removing the injectors by wiggling side to side and pressing the screwdriver on the metal, not on the plastic bit of the injector. You don't want to break the injectors. So I'm wiggling the injector bolt side to side just to loosen it in where it is seated, and then you can take them out. So obviously I've speeded this up because I'm sure you want to watch me taking out a load of injectors.
And down there you can see the injector.
So now you can see the injector holes
under the top
and the bolt holes
pistons
that we'll be using later. So time to remove the camshaft. I've already removed the belt for the timing. I'll show another video of that at a later date. And here's removing the camshaft. There's the camshaft caps already removed. And now you can see the engine.
In there, with the bracket I just made, we've got a diesel compression tester fitted in with the original injector holder, and on the diesel compression test remove the Schrader valve in the end there. This is part of the diesel compression tester, so put some air in.
So I've already removed one of the tappets, so you can see the top of the valve there.
So this tool, it's got a magnet on the inside.
This Volkswagen was a hard job to do.
No, I'm going to have to use the hammer.
I could push them off when I did it on a Mercedes, but the Volkswagen has double springs.
No, I've only got one.
So I'd only got one of the collects out that time. So So there you go, hit it again, and let's remove the other collet, and you can see the top coming off with the magnetic.
As you can see there, capture the collet.
So here's again shown from a different angle.
Not one of the collet. Again magnetic.
So now it's time to remove the spring and the cap. So it's a double spring.
And with the seal pliers.
So using the valve guide pliers, just put them over the valve guide, twist side to side and pull straight up.
Just wiggle back and forth, slowly pulling up. And there we go, there's the old valve guide.
So time to reinsert the new valve guide.
And the new valve, I've just put a bit of oil to help lubrication.
Place over the valve. And you can hear when it's down.
The valve with a 10mm long socket. And just tap it down into place. Now you can feel when it's all the way seated. So spring back in place. Larger spring. Now put the collets on top.
So I hope you heard the different sound it made when the valve guide was tapped all the way down.
And with this part of the tool, hooks over the top.
Like I said before, I can do this sometimes on things like Mercedes, with just by pushing down with my hand. With the double spring, it made this life a lot harder.
You want to go a bit? Leave that. No.
On this car, I'd probably recommend doing it with the head off. If you heard the click there, that was getting the cullets to the first click.
Hold that tight and get it dead centre.
And that's tapping the cullets in to the second click. So this is what the top of your valve should look like with the collets fully seated. And just slightly tapping down the tappet. It was just a bit stuck. It was just a bit stuck. So I'm now moving on to another valve. That's removed one of the collets. There's the other collet and the cap. Now, I've edited out some of the attempts where I took, so I probably spent an average of 5 times on each valve to actually get the collects in right. I'm sure you wanted to watch me hit away at a hammer and not actually change the part, so I've edited those ones out. So again, 10mm socket, pushing down and tap downs with a hammer, you'll hear the difference. There, you can hear it seated now. So again, showing the 2 springs, one inside the other, just place over the valve. Get the cap with the collects already fitted in. They're chamfered, so they won't fall through once you get them in the right place. And what I found did help is if you push it down to get the first click of the collects in place. Like I say, this job is a lot easier on something like a Mercedes, which only has a single spring. There, you probably heard the click of the collects going to the first. I think the collector only went in on one side on that first time, so I had to do it again. Yeah, there was the click. So both the collects are at the first hole. Oh, sorry. So to knock them flush like I showed before, you just get the hammer and knock them down so they should be flush. So you can see the collects all flush with the top of the valve. So just tap it back in on top of it. So again, if you want to jump to a different part of the video, here's the timings. I'm just showing changing the compression tester over to another cylinder to do the valve on another cylinder. So there's the difference between the two valve guide seals. Right. So put these back in, and then you need the. So now place the camshaft bearings back in, and obviously lubricate. Reinstall the camshaft. I'm doing it with the high pressure pump still in place. You have to make sure it's vertical if you're doing this way. It's probably best to remove the high pressure fuel pump. Back in over the pump. So put the caps on the camshaft and tighten down evenly. You don't want to try and bend the camshaft, so equal pressure all the way along. With plenty of lubrication on the bearings. So now installing the injectors. I've got another video which shows all the injectors being installed, so this is just a quick run through of just showing you one really. Get the new foot, or get the old foot, but make sure you use new injector bolts, because these are stretch bolts and they're one-time use only. So make sure you tap the injectors down nice and snug. There's me using some new stretch bolts. As you can see, it's absolutely freezing. So a bit of lubrication helps the injector slide into place. As you see, do the initial torque on the injectors to 12 Newton meters. Please check if your engine is different torque settings. This was the torque settings for my engine. And once you've got them torqued to the initial torque, you want to tighten the bolts a further 270 degrees. Obviously this is all speeded up. Reattach the injector wires. And this is me adding a plate to fit a diode test indicator. Again, I'm re-lubricating the camshaft. And I'm going to put the cam finger followers to the injectors in place. Again, I'm sure you want to sit through me tightening up all the bolts, so I'll just speed through this a bit. So loosen the followers on the top of the injectors and wind back. This is where we'll be doing the adjustment. And continuing to tighten down the finger followers. This is probably one of the hardest parts of the job. Again, you torque to 20 Newton meters, and then you additionally add another 90 degrees. Here we go, with the additional 90 degrees. Again, I'll speed this up because I'm sure you don't want to do every bolt. But I'm going in a random pattern, a bit like you would do for doing a head gasket. So here on that plate you saw me fit earlier, I've placed a dial test indicator. So I'm looking for when the injector is under maximum compression.
it's just going the other way, isn't it? Right, you're going to get round. It's going down now.
So the finger follower's pushing on the top of the injector.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now going down?
Yeah. Doesn't look like it is to me.
When it gets round about 9 o'clock, I think that's about where it was changing. I don't know. I think that's about it. You're not or not?
Yeah, that's going to be it.
Okay. Are we sure?
Yeah, because it's not moving now.
Right, now get that, well, you can use a ratchet or use the Allen key, I don't know what you want to use.
So that's the injector pushed fully down.
But you just, you can take that off now. You sort of tighten it down like no pressure tortoise on the end.
Just releasing the nut off so I can screw it all the way down. That's where the pressure
So
is.
it's got to come round to here then, isn't it?
That's 180, isn't it? So 180 degrees backwards and lock off.
What's that? Oh. And what I'm going to suggest, get an open-ended spanner to start with.
Is it the same as this one?
Yeah, that'll do it, won't it? And then tighten it, and then you can torque it if you want. Just undo that.
So holding the adjuster, with the hex bolt, we'll turn the ring spanner to lock it off. And that's that one done.
You're not going to see it now, are you? Oh,
No, not from here, but I don't think.
well, you might do. Yeah, so just slide it along.
So placing the dial test indicator on the next injector, turning the engine over by hand. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been as help to you. If this video has been of help, please like and subscribe. And I post videos mainly on the automotive process.